Rubicon, I'd like to take the shot, please.
I'm afraid I can't let you do that.
Rubicon, the turret is getting away. We need to take the shot now.
Sorry, Volk, but launch authority is still denied.
You know what? Forget it. I'm going manual. Hi folks. Today I'm covering the weapon control switch. When you jump in the aircraft, it's always set to automatic. Also known as I can't be trusted to make my own decisions with sound judgment mode. If you're not ranged, it'll let you fire your unguarded weapons because it assumes a default 1k range. If you have ranged, then it sets additional limits based on that number on the HUD, which may be an accurate lasing or of course an interpolated guess by the system. Vichers can only fire between 800 meters and 7.2 Ks. Minimum range is shown as an X on the HUD. It also needs a target to be within about a half circle of the Vicher reticule. KH-25s you can launch from 2.5 to 7 Ks. You can actually fire them fairly off-bore, maybe even 20 degrees. That said, I wouldn't trust its accuracy doing so necessarily. The Cannon and UPK pods can fire between 250 meters to 4 Ks. That's for both AP and high explosive ammo. Your cannon only fires slightly outside the motion gate limits set on the HUD. Note if you hold on the trigger outside the limits and then move into limits, you'll need to let go and pull the trigger again for it to start firing. The S-13 and S-8 rockets all appear to be restricted beneath 300 meters range, but there's no max range limit for launch authority. Bombs won't launch under 200 meters laser ranging and have radar altitude limits based on the bomb. Fab 250s only launch over 200 meters above ground level and Fab 500s at 300 meters. KMG dispensers can only be used from about 50 meters plus. Interestingly, there's no altitude limit on the missiles or rockets and no weight on wheels restrictions. I didn't see pitch limits in terms of your airframe for the cans like in the manual. It is worth noting that for unguarded weapons other than the cannon, there's range and altitude restrictions are based on the ballistic knob setting, not on the activated pylons. The ballistics setting video is coming soon. Now, manual weapon control is either freedom and bliss. You have no range restrictions. You might see an X for minimum range or out of cannon motion limits, but you can still fire. You have no altitude restrictions. You can fire Vichers without aligning the circles, which are still very accurate 5 degrees off. This means you can squeak out more range for your high-X rounds to rain fire on troops or get your Vichers to go that 8.3 Ks or more. It means if you strafe close and spot non-threatening targets that you want to still get in the same pass, you can outgun down that truck that's at 150 meters. Supposedly, the manual weapon control mode also makes it that your Vichers no longer depress downwards to align with the target, and that the tracking gates no longer expand or contract with the target you lock as it grows closer or further away. However, at the moment in DCS it doesn't do any of these things, so manual control is just flat out superior unless you really can't control your trigger finger around populated areas. As Volk, have fun going manual.